In this video, I'm going to answer the question, how do I get funding to start my own business? And I'm going to share with you 3 reasons and strategies on how and where to go get it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 things, right? Getting funding is kind of everywhere, but I'm going to teach you how to get one without using any of your own money. I'm going to teach you several ways that you can just tap immediate resources to get business funding. Then number 3, I'm going to talk about the financial infrastructure, meaning what do you need set up and organized in a way that you're even going to qualify for any of this funding, which is why you have to become a client. And I know a lot of you say, I don't want to become a client. It isn't that big a deal. We have to walk you through the process. See, here's the deal. A lot of this is getting organized and just doing the paperwork that you don't want to do. So when you become a client, we help you through the paperwork, help you through the business plan, get all that stuff in order, which honestly, when we tell most people we can help them get SBA loans or business funding, and we send it out to you, nothing happens. Why? Because of the organization and that infrastructure. So that third piece is critical, but let's start with the first one. How do you get business funding using other people's money, right? Money is everywhere, and there is so much OPM available. A lot of people, because they don't trust the stock market right now, have pulled out of the stock market and they're looking for places to invest, right? Shark Tank's made it prevalent that people want to buy other people's companies or invest in other people's companies. So there's a lot of hard money lenders that will actually do what's called convertible debt. So convertible debt means that you're going to take money from them on a 1, 2, 3 to 5 year term. You'll pay them an interest payment or a balloon payment at the end. And you can either convert them into an equity position in your company, or the money will be used to just get you up and running. And so you're sustainable and cash flowing, and then you can pay them off. So it's a brilliant way, and there's so much of that OPM around. Now, you've heard people say OPM, OPM, OPM. I want to introduce you to a few other things you might just want because it might be critical for your funding, which is OPC. Other people's credit. See, when you apply, and we're going to get to the infrastructure in a few moments in the video, your structure of your business has to be appropriate. You just can't have the business idea. You just can't be the idea guy or girl and say, well, I have an idea of how to make money and have no plan and have no structure to it. You have to be incorporated. Now, you can't do this as a sole proprietor. There's a lot that I'm going to talk through. So get a pen and paper so we get to that infrastructure, you can take good notes. One other place for OPM that you might want to start looking, there's a lot of angel groups. So angel investors are people who are just looking to buy or invest into companies. So these are usually uber rich, right? That take risks. Some of them will specialize in technology. Some of them will specialize in green energy kind of products. Some will specialize in service-based companies. There's a lot out there. Just make sure you do your due diligence. I've seen some people give money away to angels and the paperwork's not accurately done and the angels end up taking over your company. So again, why I want to really work with you closely is to make sure that you dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure that your paperwork and your infrastructure is set up. So now that we've talked about OPM, which is I'm not going to say it's the easy one, but it's the obvious one. It's not going to cost you money. It's just going to be time and due diligence. Let's go 3 other places where you can get money. So number 1, let's look at your savings. Do you have any money put away? Do you have a 401k put away? And even if you work for a company, typical companies will allow you to borrow. You can go in and get $50,000 against your 401k. And you do have to pay some interest and there's a lot of paperwork, but there is some $50,000 of startup money that you could get to do some more funding inside of your company. So that's kind of number 1 and 2 is what you have put away for yourself. 401k, savings, just other accounts. Do you have any money there? Right, now let's go to the next one. And there's a way that you can get business funding, like really credit card funding for 0% financing for 21 months. There's a lot of companies who will do it. If you just call the credit card company, they're going to think you're crazy because there's specialists who do this. They shop 20, 30 different financial institutes to find you the best rates. You do have to have some good credit. I say okay credit. This is that one where you don't have to have super credit, but you have to have okay credit. So again, OPC might be somewhere where you're going to partner to someone. In addition to their money, you might want or need to use their credit. And you say, well, who might that be? Well, if you went into a foreclosure or a bankruptcy or somehow your credit got hit, partnering with somebody is critical. Now, if you're the OPC and you're listening and saying, I could borrow my credit, I'm an 800 credit score, highly strategize. And, I can't give you advice, but I can tell you, if it was me, I would make myself a partner inside that company. I would be a partner and a shareholder of the LLC or the S Corp. And there would be very clear conditions about how to protect my credit if I'm the one putting up for the credit cards or the OPM or putting even a personal guarantee down. All right. So as you become a client again, we'll talk you through all the paperwork and how these need to happen and really how the transaction should happen properly. So let's go back into this credit card business funding. So you do have to be incorporated and your company's going to apply for credit. Now, again, you can borrow someone's credit and bring them in. It could be part of the company, but your company is going to have a P&L. You say, well, I don't have a P&L. We're going to help you get one. Here's what I find with a lot of people who said that they don't have P&Ls. You really didn't have good bookkeeping, but you did make money. You did spend money. It just wasn't documented right. So all that's going to have to get in order. And this credit is going to come in the forms of credit cards. Some of it will actually be cash that will be wired into your account. And you have 21 months of 0% interest. Now, here's why this is beneficial. I love it for rehab companies, right? So you go out and buy a piece of property and you can qualify for $100,000, $150,000 of this kind of credit card financing at 0%. 21 months is almost 2 years. So how many properties can you use that money for free, not pay the 9, 10, 12, 15% hard money lender on the OPM model and use the money? Yes, it's in credit cards, but you can go to Lowe's, you can go to Home Depot, you can buy materials, you can pay vendors. Like this is free money. So you have no hard money and no interest, which means you have more profit when you flip that property. So I love the use of funds for things like that. And then the last but not least is SBAs and grants. Now, grants take a long time to get and a lot of paperwork and applications. We actually have a grant writer and a grant specialist that we can refer you to that will help you in that process. And as far as getting SBAs, we have an absolute beautiful, beautiful team who will help make sure that you have all of the criteria of what it takes to get an SBA or an IEDL, which is part of the economic relief package that's coming out, has come out from the government since the pandemic. A lot of places to get money. So again, in summary, OPM, angel investors, that kind of money, and some structures on how to do that to protect you and protect the money. Number two, how do you get it from yourself, your savings, credit card funding to a business funding lender or your SBA or grant. Now, number three that is critical and essential is your financial infrastructure. But the infrastructure is essential for even number one and number two. So even though number one and number two sound great, and a lot of people will call in and say, hey, I just want to know how to do that one thing, that grant or the SBA. If we just handed it to you without this infrastructure that will help you within our coaching of setting you up, getting you a business plan, critical, absolutely critical, none of it will work. So before I talk about the infrastructure, I'd like a couple things. I want you to comment on funding. Like, do you want it, not want it? I just, yes or no, I want some funding. Want to know how critical this really is to all those you're out there listening. And if this isn't the topic for today, or it is the topic for today, I want you to subscribe. Every day I come live. I want you to hit that notification. So every day you're going to get a message. You're going to get some learning from me on things you need to know about money. And here's what I say about subscribing. Some people say, well, sometimes, I don't have kids and you talk about kids stuff. I said, I know, but you could just pass that on to people who do have kids. And sometimes I'll talk about things that you have no idea about. And those are the ones I would say, why don't you? From a financially literate standpoint. Now, back to number three. How do you get your financial infrastructure in order? Well, you've got to get your credit organized. So if you don't have good credit, again, you want to consider the OPC model of using other people's credit partnering, or just work on it. At the end of the day, you just have to work on it, right? I don't care if you're a 520, a 580, you're going to have to work on improving your credit score. You may have to do some pay downs. And for those of you that are out there that still live your life by your checkbook and say, well, I can't afford it, I'm going to teach you how to live your life by a P&L instead of living by your checkbook balance. But to that, you got to have a P&L. So what is your profit? What is your loss if you do have assets and liabilities? One thing that a lot of these lenders tuck in is, do you have insurance? Especially the SBAs in the banks. They're going to want to know, do you have business insurance? Do you have liability insurance? Especially those of you that have payroll. Do you have work comp? You're going to have to prove all those documents. You're going to need credit P&Ls. You're going to need actually a business checking account, business savings account. They're going to have the routing numbers. You're going to have a few years of tax returns that are accurate and cleaned out. If those aren't done, we have a team that I refer to, extraordinary tax team. They'll get them done right away for you. And maybe you should do a 3-year tax return review while you're out there. A lot of people actually get money back because you've been overpaying for so long. So there's some structure to it. But the big one is that business plan. How are you going to grow this company? If anyone gives you money, What proof do they have that you have a plan to grow it, and not only grow it for your own profitability, but to grow to enough to give them the money back? Whether it's the SBA and you got to make payments for the next 30 years, whether it's a grant, you still have to be accountable typically to that grant, whether it's paying back your own 401k, whether it's paying back the OPM. In all cases, your business plan has to be done. What are the strategies and tactics? What's the marketing plan? What's the sales plan? What's the technical plan? What's the management team? We're going to help you put that together. Absolutely. You will walk out with an operational business plan. And for those of you that need a more sophisticated OPM where you're going to take it and really go raise capital, there's a whole nother structure to those of you that need that. But for right now, you just need an operational business plan that actually can show that money that you're wanting to get, how it's going to be used, how's it going to grow, and how they're going to get paid back. A lot of you'll walk around and say, nobody's going to give me money. It's because you're not organized. They shouldn't. So money doesn't come to chaos. Money comes to amazing organizations. So let us help you. I want you to click on the link below. It's in the description, and there's an application pop up. And I want you to apply to be a client. So you're going to tell me why you want to be a client. What do you need done? What do you think you need done? I know what you need done. Doesn't matter what I want and know that you need done. What do you want done? How much money do you want to qualify for? What kind of funding? And what is your idea of a growth plan? I'm not asking for a business plan right now, but what do you want to do with this company and why do you need this money? Apply quickly, takes about 40, maybe 45 seconds, and submit it in. Our team will call you in 24 hours, and let's begin.